It's also just very well paced. There's rarely a boring scene. I'm gonna give The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It a B. It's never boring. Never boring.
What? Oh my... Oh, Jesus Christ! Fuck it!
This week, the Fiends watched
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It 3.
Welcome to the show, okay?
Thanks for coming here.
It's been fun. See you guys later.
Bye.
So, yeah, man, we don't know what each other thought, and I'm really curious to see what Mikey thought of it.
I'm even more curious to know what the fuck you thought about it, dude. So you got to go first. Quick little synopsis, spoiler-free for the viewers. What did you think of The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It?
I was massively disappointed with this movie. I have a fierce, I think, hatred for this movie. I wanted to fucking love it. I loved the first one, loved the second one, and this one, fuck, I did not like one bit of it. Not one bit of it, and it really hurts my heart to say that. So we're gonna get into it, but before we do it, I gotta ask Mikey, what did you think of The Devil Made The Conjuring 3?
I gotta say that I agree with every word you just said.
Yes!
Because, Mikey, I was underwhelmed.
Yes!
But I will go ahead and say, there's like 4 minutes that are pretty dope. But aside from that, man, this is Mikey, this is no 1. This is no 2, okay? This is its own thing, and they tried to make it its own thing, and I understand, and they had your boy from one of your favorite horror films in the last 5 years, La Llorona, the director, Michael Chavez, come in.
Oh my God.
And direct it, and we always kind of said from the start that we were like, hey, James Wan, what are you doing? Why'd you pick him? Because you picked him, you could have picked anybody.
What are you doing?
Should have had you direct it. But they had Michael Chavez do it. So
let's get the guy who did a fucking Billie Eilish music video and did La Llorona, and let's give him one of the most popular horror franchises in the past 15 years, right?
Oh, one of the strongest number 1 and 2 punches in a very long time.
100%. Let's get him to do this movie.
Yeah.
It's retard. It's bad. It's a bad decision, and we were worried from the start. And this movie, I fucking, dude, I hated it. When I say I hated it, I mean I hated it.
Oh, Mikey, I wanted to fucking come in here and be like, I watched it 3 times since yesterday because it was like a 1 and 2. I'm just like, ooh, I gotta always go back. And no, man, it's the complete opposite.
Army of the Dead is fucking The Shawshank Redemption compared to this movie.
I know what you mean as far as like entertainment value and stuff. I hear you.
Everything in this movie is tired, cliched. It's been done before. There's nothing clever about it. There's nothing new about it. There's nothing inventive about it. It's all been done before. And I was expecting the opposite. I thought it was going to be more true crime, courtroom, that kind of stuff. And it's literally 2 minutes of courtroom shit, and the rest is garbage. So, you know, we can kind of start from there, man.
See, well, that's what I think we all thought it, right? We all go, oh, dude, there's going to be some awesome, like, prosecution type shit. Like, there's going to be some awesome, like, you know, cross-examination going on. But what did you do on the...
So,
I'm like, oh!
You're right. And we love that stuff, man. We've never been in court. We've never been arrested. You know what I mean? Knock on wood. But we love watching it. Right. And you watch the trailer, you go, oh, this is going to be, you know, a cool little spin on The Conjuring. It's not a haunted house, right? But then you learn, like, afterwards. So I watched a couple of videos on, like, the real case, right? After the movie. I didn't want to know anything. And you learn that the judge rejected the defense lawyer's defense by saying, oh, he was possessed by a demon. The judge wouldn't even allow it. So it's not even like it had anything to do with the trial, had anything to do with anything. The judge said, nope, you can't do it, which is a total what's the word? It's like, yeah, it's a misrepresentation in the trailer where you think, oh, they used this as a defense. Like, no, it wasn't even used because the judge was like, fuck you. That's ridiculous.
We had all the evidence to prove in any court of law that this young boy was diabolically possessed, and the young man who helped him later, Arnie Johnson, who was 18 years old and lived in the house, came under demonic possession. Any evidence that you could prove a case with in any court of law in the United States, we had, and the judge would not allow us to bring it in.
And I didn't know that, and I feel bamboozled.
Me too, because that would have been awesome. And that's what we all thought from the trailer. But instead it's just, it's just the first time someone used it as a defense. They didn't say anything about it getting tossed.
Yeah, it not being used.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, when I heard that, because I watched a bunch of videos,
Yeah.
I'm sure you did, I'm going, oh, dude, really? I got boned. We got boned with this movie, again, as we do with a lot of movies.
And we love getting boned, but it's like, it has to be enjoyable a little bit, right?
Oh, of course.
You know-
no wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
No. And it could be quick, it could be slow, it could be hard, it could be soft. As long as you enjoy it a little bit, we'll get boned every night, you know?
Dude, what comes from boning? Satisfaction.
That
I did
is-
not get satisfied.
I had the saddest faction thoughts after watching this movie. But dude, the openings to the first two films, right, are memorable. It's a thing. It's become a thing with the first two movies. You're like, oh, what's the opening going to be? It has nothing to do with the real movie. It has to do with another Warren case. First one, you get the Annabelle, boom, bop.
It's moving around by itself.
Ever think that maybe somebody had a key to your apartment and was just playing a trick on you?
That's exactly what we thought. But never once did we find any sign or evidence of intrusion.
And this all led you to believe that the doll was possessed?
Yes.
Second one, we all know, the Amityville. That was a cool fucking opening to the second movie.
We'll splash.
Awesome. You're like, oh, everybody knows this case. And then this one, I'm sorry, how many times have we seen a devil or demon possession? Like
45,000?
Like, why are you open? And this had to do with the entire rest of the case.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that this time. They're like, no, we're going to set up. No, you do the Conjuring formula. Show a different Ed and Lorraine Warren case, right? And then you get into the rest of the real story. So that was a major difference that I didn't like right from the beginning.
It would have been awesome to just see, because, look, we knew about, we've heard of the two first ones, right? It would have been awesome to just see something else. I'm like, oh my God, I never heard of that. That's a cool way to open this one. Follow the formula, James Wan, Michael Chavez. Follow the formula.
And they didn't. They just do some corny. I was just, from the moment it started, I'm like, I don't like that. After 2 minutes in, I'm going, I've seen this 1,000 times before.
Oh, yeah.
A kid or a guy, whatever, possessed, and okay, we've seen it. It felt like a sketch. It felt like an SNL sketch to me. I swear to God, like this entire movie just felt like someone was parodying The Conjuring. I don't know. I was like laughing, watching it, like going, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we'll get to the ending and things that they rip off from other movies, and I'm like, this is fucking cheap and bullshit. But yeah, from the moment it started, that opening, 5 minutes, I was just let down, and that's what I was looking forward to.
See, although, yes, I do agree with you. I think that was the best 5 minutes of the movie.
And that's perfectly fine. I get that.
And it was like, I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, the CG was not good when he's like breaking his back and stuff. Couldn't get a contortionist dude to just come do it. Unless they did and they blended it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it just looks he looks rubber. I want to see a person. I want to see some bone snap. But anyway, and that was your kid. That's your boy. You love that little kid.
Yeah, he's from,
Say it.
fuck, dude. Yeah, he's the glasses. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I knew him, but I didn't look him up because, he
Nettie?
loves the kids. I don't, you know what I mean?
Come on.
Just tell me. I don't
Haunted
know.
Hill House, haunted Hill House.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, he's a younger boy. He's a young little baby boy.
I don't know. I didn't like the opening because I've seen Exorcist. It's just
Of
so
course.
tired. I was like, give me something cool, man.
Oh, no,
give me
it's
something
tiresome.
Yeah.
And I was tired of it too. But unfortunately, Mikey, it's the best sequence in the entire film.
cool. Okay. I disagree.
Oh, you think there's a better sequel?
Yeah, dude. I'll give you a better sequel, dude.
What's the sequel?
I don't know. I got to think of one because I hated everything in this movie. Yeah.
I mean, there's some moments of suspense later with the daughter of the fucking priest.
See, I didn't. I thought that whole, I thought the whole story was just garbage.
Yeah, it's
I don't
very
know.
muddled, right? Because they didn't really know where to go. It's like they didn't know what to do with this story.
Yeah.
Because look, my bottom dollar would have just said, oh, okay, you're going to see a lot of courtroom. You're going to see a lot of things leading up to where like the defense is going to be like, well, then, you know, this is where at the time at this moment when
Flashback. Yeah,
flashback, and then you have the other side, the attorney coming in. I object. This is
yes.
And now I'm like, oh, cool. And then they're going to show some other stuff, but mostly it's just here's what's happening in the beginning, and then we're going to follow this satanic cult while our other guys in jail. And oh my God, those sequences were so bad in prison.
Horrible,
terrible. They just didn't know what they were doing. Like they didn't know where to go.
But I thought of the best sequence. The best sequence is when he murders the landlord guy. To me, that was the best sequence in the movie. To me, that was like the most, you know, tense and kind of, and I'm talking about like a little bit of suspense for me. And that was the most I got throughout the whole movie, was just that part. But that brings me to my biggest problem with this movie, but I've said it before. Dude, you're defending a killer. You're literally letting him off the hook and saying that, nope, everything is real. Like, God is real, the devil is real, demons are real, he was possessed, this is not his fault. We are excusing him of his actions, right? And that was my biggest problem from the get-go. I said, how are they going to tiptoe around this subject? And it shows how they did it by not jumping into the courtroom. They did all Ed and Lorraine Warren stuff. He was like 15% of the movie. The rest was Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah.
So, but still, I read up on the real story, and he basically, excuse me, he basically did 5 years for manslaughter, right? As it says in the end. But the real story is that he visited his girlfriend at the animal rescue place that she was working at, and the guy who was there was also their landlord, and he was a little drunk, and he got into a little like argument with the girl. Then the guy Arnie came in, and they got into an argument, and he wound up stabbing him 22 times. That's all that is pretty much known about what happened that night. I couldn't buy all that this was real with the demon and taking over him in possession. I'm going, they got into an argument, he fucked up and stabbed this guy. I said, that is what happened. There is no, you know, justifying with demons. And so I could not, it was so hard for me to get past that point to where I thought everything was just bullshit. And it wasn't even good and scary to where I would have been like, you know what? I don't care about what really happened. This is great. This scared the shit out of me, right? Nope, it's the opposite, where it just made it worse. So that's my biggest P, and I went on a rant, so we're going to let Mikey talk a little bit.
Thanks, and very well said. Your neck flared up, you know, you got really into it.
Thanks, man. I rehearsed every word of that in the mirror 16 times.
Kind of sounded like you did, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I think that when they looked at, when they made the script, right, because it was James Wan and someone else that actually did the script, they thought they hit gold with the story, Mikey, because they go, oh my God, we are going to open the movie with a possession where it's going to lead to our main guy, Arnie, saying, come into me, right? And like show, jump into me, you know, come inside me, come inside me, come inside me 3 times since yesterday. And then now I'm possessed. So I think I'm now thinking about it, like I see why they didn't have a different Ed and Lorraine story opening. It's not good, but they were like, oh, that's going to be great. We're gonna just do something so different than number 1 and 2. We're gonna have this kid get possessed. Arnie's gonna ask for him to bust inside him, and then that's our movie.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's so funny that you mentioned that because so in the first 5 minutes, right, Arnie goes, "Get out of him, come into me," right, and then 40 minutes in, it takes them 40 minutes to say, quote, the demon was passed into him from the kid. Lorraine and Ed say that. And I go, we learned that in the first 5 minutes.
You don't have to say it.
It's building up. And then 40 minutes in, they're sitting there discussing and they go, wait, oh, the demon jumped in. They treat us like we're stupid. They treat the audience like we are just dumb. And they need to reiterate stuff to us. And that's my biggest problem with movies like this. And La Llorona was one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen in my life. And it just shows that this guy does not know how to control a movie and how to tell a cohesive story in a way that is unique and different from other garbage movies that come out today. If this was not named Conjuring, if this was just made The Devil Made Me Do It, it would have a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes and maybe a 38 from audience. You know, like it's all name recognition. And this guy was handed the keys to the kingdom, and he, you know, got in that kingdom, and he fucked it hard.
Dude, James Wan just said, "Oh, you want to do a movie?" and just gave it to this guy.
They probably have a little thing going on. You never know. You know,
that's a good point. But you know what? I'm not gonna lie though. In comparison for directing, though, he actually did a way better job directing this compared to
disagree.
La Llorona. You think he did a better job of La Llorona?
No, I'm saying they're both on the same page.
Oh, they're just the same.
I
Okay,
think
all right.
there's some better shots in this movie, absolutely. But as far as directing as a whole, I don't agree. I think the cinematography is better in this movie.
Cinematography's
Absolutely,
definitely better because it
100%.
has that touch.
Oh yeah,
of
yeah.
Conjuring.
There's a lot of cool scenes and the way we're presented certain things, but I think like directing includes more than just like the way shots look. So that's why I say I think it's still on the level of La Llorona. You have to rein everything in, and be able to control every aspect of it. But there's some amazing looking shots in this movie. I'll give them that. Of
course.
Yeah. So I just think, I don't know. 40 minutes in, I wrote down, I'm bored as fuck. I don't care about anything that's going on. I don't know what is happening right now.
Yeah.
What is going on? We're looking at these couple bones, little fucking altar thing, and then
Yeah.
we go to another case. That entire 20 minutes when they go with the African-American police officer to find those other two girls could have been just cut from the movie.
Totally.
Just cut it out.
Yeah.
Cut it out. It is so, it's dragged on and it doesn't even lead to a good scare.
Right.
It doesn't even, if that all led to this fucking creepy ass moment like maybe the basement scene in Conjuring when, Lorraine falls down, she turns and sees the fucking old maid, like maybe something like that. But no, it leads to this stupid fucking scare that did not work for me, and I was just so bored throughout this movie.
Dude, enough with people hanging off of cliffs. Boring. And we saw it in the trailer. Come on, dude, we saw it in the trailer.
Just that whole thing was just so pointless, and
Yeah.
like I don't know, man. I have a listen, man. I'm not religious, right? I don't know what's out there. I'm agnostic, you say, right? I don't know. Give me some proof, right? So just the way that these movies just like the haunted house things are a little different because it's not police procedural kind of things with cases and murder weapons and different victims. It's like, oh, we're all in a house, right? So I let things slide. I go, okay, this could have been a demon. We'll let it go. But when it comes to something like this, and they build on it where Lorraine just picks the murder weapon out and she's like, nope, it was this one. And then like smiles and she's like, I met Elvis before when he was alive or dead. Both. What? Like, dude, I think Ed and Lorraine are fucking shysters and I think they're scammers. And I don't know, man. I watched this Amityville documentary recently on Discovery Plus, and it's fantastic, but there's a lot of clips of Ed and Lorraine Warren, and Ed Warren is just like a dick to atheists. He's like treating us like Satanists. He's like, it's the atheists out there that want to disprove what we say so they can blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, bro, we don't care. Show us that it's a demon, something like that. I'm like, you're scamming off of these poor people. And spoiler alert, the fucking brother of the little kid who was possessed in this sued the writer of the book that Ed and Lorraine Warren wrote with this guy about this case. He sued them saying that, no, my little brother was never possessed. They literally spun a web around my parents and tricked them and manipulated them into thinking that he was possessed and made a lot of money off our family. And they sued them. Like, I don't know, man. It just, it really made me mad, dude. I don't know. Made me mad.
I like Patrick Wilson. Fantastic. I like Vera Farmiga.
Vera Farmiga.
Okay, Farmiga. I like them. I like them as Ed and Lorraine. Like, I can always watch them and go, oh, you know what? I have faith in the two of them. Faith, see what I did there? But they're entertaining. Like, I can watch that duo go battle, whatever, right?
Great actors.
I totally feel you, Mikey. I look at the real Ed and Lorraine Warren. They used to be my neighbors, but whatever. I look at them as the same as the woman who, the Long Island fucking, what's her name?
Long Island Medium.
Oh no, died in the water. In the water. No, they didn't. Died in 9/11. Like, I look at
that's Pauline, whatever. But then there's a Long Island Medium who's worse. Yeah,
they're all terrible.
Yeah.
So I get it. They're preying on the weak, dude. They're using it to their advantage. So I totally agree with you on that. But this movie and all the Conjurings do such a great job of making the viewer go, oh, in this world, it's all real.
100%.
And that's effective.
Yeah, because I can buy it. Like, I'll let certain things go. I'll be like, oh, they're in a haunted house. Like, you got to get the movie going and say that. But just this, when you're like, this detective who's probably been working for like 25 years, and then Lorraine just comes in and just like, nope, that's the murder weapon. Then stop murders. Then Minority Report it, right? And like, if you know all this shit, then stop a murder before it's about to happen. If you're recreating murders and shit, like, I don't know, I just didn't buy it. And this was so focused on them and her talent and his talent as a demonologist and all this shit. And when you blend true crime in there, and I'm like, the victim's parents of the girl who was murdered, I'm like, the victim's parents like, oh yeah, fucking Lorraine Warren walked to the site and fucking recreated the fucking thing and walked to a cliff and got pulled down by the ghost of my girl or a demon that was possessing my girl. Like, I don't know. I couldn't get that out of my mind of like the victims' families, and it felt exploitative. It felt cheap to me. I didn't like it. It wasn't. And if it was scary and blew my man tits off, then I let all that go.
Sure.
I go, you know what? It's a movie. Who gives a fuck? But this, just not one scene did I have any sort of like,
Chilly Willy.
chills, dude. Nothing.
I know, and I wanted to
you?
start
Were
it when it was dark.
Were
'Cause
you,
I go,
were you scared at
No.
all in this?
Mikey, I was Jane my deed. You know what I'm saying, dude?
All right.
I'm sitting there going, oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Oh, my God. Wait, this is an hour and 56 minutes. I go, oh, my God. I paused to go pee, and I go, which, again, great that it's on HBO Max for us to see on an opening day, but boring.
Nothing in this was new. I didn't watch it at any point and go, oh my God, that's cool. They did that. Everything was like, and the villain in this. Let's talk about the villain, dude, right?
Yeah.
This Satan, dude, who the fuck is this lady? And why did she send demons after that family? Like, why them and the other two girls? The one girl, like, why did she do that?
Because in the priest words, don't focus on the why. Such a bullshit answer. That's what he says, right?
No, I don't know. I was
he
so
says it.
checked out when he
I
was
know.
talking at the end. I'm like, I don't fucking know.
That was his daughter, right?
That was his daughter,
But he
right?
said, he's like, because they asked the same question. Why was it done to this?
Yep.
You're focused on the why. I'm like, yeah, but I want to know why.
But yeah, like, you're basing this all on a true story and you're letting a killer off the hook. So, like, we need a why.
Yeah, because this has nothing to do with the real story. This is just a thing that's thrown into the script.
But they're saying that this is she summoned the demon from the depths, right?
Yeah.
She summoned him, and then he or she, or it could be any sort of demon, right? Demons can be many zers.
It.
And, well,
So I'm.
well, I guess a demon could be it. I guess it wasn't human, but I'm just saying, do demons have genders?
They're always guys.
They're always, yeah, they
They're
do say
always
he.
guys.
Yeah, you're
I've
right.
never. Well, maybe there's a
Well,
couple.
the nun, you know.
That's a guy inside her.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's insidious.
Oh, good point.
But yeah, I'm just saying,
yeah.
so she summoned this D, dude, right? And
Yeah.
the D's got to go into, forget about the other girl and the cliff,
Sure,
forget about her, right? Because that was, it just
sure.
muddles it. So she goes into Arnie, like the demon goes into Arnie, right?
On to the boy.
Well,
Sorry.
no.
Sorry.
I'm saying for our movie, right?
For the
goes
movie.
into Arnie
Yes.
and commits murder, right?
Yeah.
And then bounces. So he decides, so like literally they say, like 2 weeks prior, Arnie like went and, what did he do? He did something. Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Like he went to like a guns, like he went somewhere, right? When I was watching this other little documentary and I go, so was that the demon? You know?
He was
I'm
also
like,
in
so-
church. They said he was yelling out at church. Like,
There you go.
Swearing, and then he had to be escorted out. Was that the demon?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would actually, that's actually like probably what a demon would do.
Good point.
But I'm saying like what if he goes to like a gun range, right? Like so 2 weeks before he went to a gun range, that's the demon. Like the demon did that. Like when is the demon in him, and when is the demon, releasing him? Because
point.
technically he kills the person, and then he's in jail the next day, and he reads the Bible. It's like, now you're good, man. You're good.
Fine.
You're not possessed. What?
This is a clear indication. I mean, the words alone, him reading it means he can't have a demon in him.
But how did the demon get out of him? See what I'm saying? If they need to do an exorcism, let's just break this down for a second.
Yeah,
if they
good
need
point.
to do an exorcism on a little kid, right? Like a crazy exorcism. He's,
Yeah.
doing all the things we've seen before, all the Emily Rose shit, all the fucking, Last Exorcism shit. He's doing all that. But then Arnie, like, just slips right out of him. Like a wet dildo. Like, why did the demon just slip out of him?
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, because there is no second exorcism. It's just,
They don't even, dude.
They don't care.
Dude, he kills someone, and then Ed and Lorraine are just in the interrogation room, and then he's like, nah, you're good, man. You're good.
So then it's like, I guess, now this would have been great. This would have been great in the courtroom if it was, objection, Your Honor, they actually said the demon wasn't there. They had him read a Bible. Now, Miss Ed and Lorraine Warren, you had him read words from the Bible, right? Yes, I did. Oh, okay. Could the demon be in him if he read the words of a Bible?
No.
Case closed. Oh, case closed.
But hold on. You're not possessed, but that doesn't mean you weren't possessed. That's literally what Ed says. In the
Your
fucking
Honor,
movie.
objection to whatever the fuck that guy just said. No, you're right.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't, yeah.
And like, make a cool villain. Like, regardless of what you think about The Nun, like, I hated the movie, but in The Conjuring 2, she's a decent villain in it. There's, dude, the fucking little canvas, the painting scene, that's still, to me, a great scene in the past 10 years in these kind of blockbuster horror movies, right? We're not talking the Vavitch or Hereditary. We're talking the other side. The other side of horror, right? We're on the other side of horror, guys. So, like, if they made a dope villain in this where I'm like, oh, that's fucking scary. It's just a little fucking, a little like 80-year-old, little person or something, and he's just rocking around. I'm like, yo, that's cool, dude. I don't care about any of this demon shit. I'll buy that because this dude's scary. No, it's like Doug Jones's sister,
She's
like,
actually creepy.
I
In real life,
find her
sorry, not in the movie.
Oh.
The actress was in a movie recently, and I just watched it not too long ago. The
Was
Fear
it
of Rain. Remember, it's about the girl who's supposed to be schizophrenic. I told you about it. Or you heard about it? So she's like the next door neighbor in that.
Okay.
I'm going, oh my God. Even my mom goes, oh, I thought that was a trans man.
Well, it looks like Doug Jones. That's funny. It
I
looks
could
like
see
Doug
the
Jones,
Doug Jones connection,
Yeah, it looks
dude.
like his sister. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there was things going on in this, and I'm Mikey. I had no idea what was going on. I'm just like, what's going on? Like, there's no rules in this. We always talk about rules, guys. It's like there's no rules. Sometimes the demon looks like her, like when it jumps out at Arnie in the first 10 minutes, but then other times it possesses dead fat bodies.
Oh my God, I forgot about that because that's how dumb that was.
Yeah, that reminded me of a scene from another horror movie, and I couldn't think of what it is. But there's
Dawn
like
of the Dead. This woman
Yeah.
is so powerful, Mikey.
She can do anything.
Dude, she can blow smoke in your face, and now you're possessed by her. Like,
Okay.
the whole thing is fucked up.
So towards the end they start like doing all these cliches, right? And you get this shot of him walking down the tunnel with the hammer shining. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Then you get when she runs up and it's Lorraine, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, it flips into her and she blows the smoke. And I'm like, you did that in Annabelle creation.
Or any of them.
Like your own universe did this, and you're giving it to us like we're a dumb audience that's just like, oh. I wish this was smarter. I wish this was more clever. I wish this was just tighter. I wanted it so tight.
Like Arnie.
Like Arnie, just super tight, man. And it wasn't. It was so cliched and treating us like we're dumb. And I don't know, dude. It felt like a spoof. It literally felt like a spoof of The Conjuring, This is called the Conjuring or something. I don't know. It's a spoof movie.
Yeah, and I after a while, you forget about Arnie. Because that story's gone, and every once in a while we'll cut back to that fucking, whatever that is. It's like a nurse room. Like, what is that place?
That could be A, an orphanage. That could be B, a nurse room. That could be C, a hospital ward. That could be D, a prison. That could be E. That could be so many
Psych
things.
ward.
Yes, dude, that could be so many things.
Oh, and by the way, I had no idea that if you killed a guy, your girlfriend can just be with you whenever.
Oh, yeah, and you're just hanging out in bed with the priest just right in
hanging
front of you.
out,
Yeah.
get a little handy or something like that. Oh, just whenever I want.
That's it.
Guess what? I'm going to kill someone. I'm killing you.
Please. After watching this movie, I wanted to die.
I know what you mean.
But then, like, in the end, the windows blow out, and I'm like, what? Like, this, and then he's fucking, and we've seen all this, though. Like, we've seen it all,
Yeah.
Like, duplicate them. Make, like, 6 of them. Start running around, and we crawl on the floor. You're like, oh, I've never seen that. I've never seen in an exorcism scene where, like, he triples. There's fucking 6 of them, and then one's like little, one's big. Like,
that's
do
creepy.
something that is different. Nothing was new, and nothing got me. So, like, people reviewing this, like our favorite reviewer, Chris Stuckman, who's like,
has a lot of really well-crafted scares, and there are some very good sustained sequences of tension. It's also just very well-paced. There's rarely a boring scene. I'm gonna give The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It a B. It's never boring.
obviously a god. Like, he has the hardest job in the world. He's one of the best YouTube editors I've ever seen. I mean, his video of Red Letter Media. You think Red Letter Media is a good editor? Good editors?
What? Oh my! Jesus Christ! How could that be true?
Chris Stuckman, oh my God, he's just fantastic. Everything he does is gold, and I agree with him on every single thing. And he obviously loved this movie and thought it was so great and was entertained throughout and not one boring part. So,
Did he really?
I totally changed my opinion on all this, yeah.
Ugh, yikes. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't even watch it.
But once I watched his review, all my thoughts changed. And I go, oh yeah, this was fantastic. It was so good. And it's just like how this fucking idiot loves it. Of course you love this fucking movie, You think RLM is watching this and just like Mike Stoklas is just sitting there just like...
Yeah. Hey, look, man. I am right there with you on that ledge, Mikey. I get
thanks,
it.
man. See, we're right there. See,
I'll
dude?
make sure to pull you back, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'll make sure
man.
to pull you back in. But just storytelling, just going just so many different ways and then putting a focus on this cult thing. I'm like, guys, you don't know what you're doing. Where is the main story? Where's the horror? Where's the courtroom procedural that
if
we're
you're gonna-
all wanting?
If you're gonna do this, then at least like did you care about anyone in this movie?
No.
Not one person,
Nope,
right? The
not
only
one.
person I cared about was the dude who got killed.
it.
I was like, he's cool, man. I like him. He's like, like he feels like a real person,
Yeah.
And then he gets killed, and I'm like, oh, all right. Like, I did not care. I'm like an hour and 10 minutes in, and they're these big revelations, and they're in the room talking and all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I wish I cared. I want to care. Guys, I'm right there. Like, it's right there, and my mouth is open, and it's like, it's right there. I want it so bad, right? And what do, dude? They back away, zip it up, and I'm sitting there with my dick in my hand, It like, I wanted to love you, but you wouldn't let me. Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me, it's stupid.
The devil made me.
The
Conjuring
fucking,
3.
I don't even like this idiot. I don't even like the
but he's
crooked
so
man
cool.
scenes, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I wish they did it with the real person. They did the stop motion thing, but you can see behind the scenes footage of the real guy who was dressed up on set. I wish they kept that. But dude, nothing in The Conjuring 3 is even half of what this stupid fucking thing was in the second one. Nothing is even half as good as what the creativeness behind this guy. And that, says a lot.
That's a good point. Yeah, I would have taken that. You kidding me? I would have taken anything.
Something like
Something.
my point is that nothing in this was good, and this guy I don't even like, but was double better than what's in this.
Well,
Something.
Look at the formula, right? Look at the formula of 1 and 2. You can take, and they made spin-offs based on certain villains or certain stories. There ain't nothing to spin off of this one, Mikey.
No.
What you gonna spin off? The fucking cult lady? Boring. There's
Yeah.
nothing. There's nothing there.
No,
Nothing there.
nothing there, and there's not even characters that you really like at all. Like we said, like we like the characters on screen, and Lorraine Warren,
Absolutely.
they're okay. But to me, I don't think they hold a movie together unless you're like there was certain scenes in this where I'm imagining like towards the end when they're confronting the demon. And I'm like, oh, imagine if like the demon was after their daughter. Like a stupid, stereotypical thing of, oh, the demon's trying to get their daughter or whatever. And Vera Farmiga like makes a face towards her. And I'm like, oh my, just for a split second, I imagined if like it really meant something and that demon was going after their daughter and she had to fight for her daughter. Something that's been done 1,000 times before, but something, and like I felt it in a split second of what this movie could have been. And that made me so sad because then I just immediately reverted back to reality and was like, oh no, like, I don't even know who this lady is, first of all. Vera Farmiga could literally just like walk away, like has no connection to this whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it was a perfect example for me viewing it going, this could have been good. Like it really could have been good. Solid trilogy, call it a day. Whatever you think about the spin-offs, it's fine. But 1, 2, and 3 are good movies. I wanted nothing more than to say that. And I can't say it.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are their own level, and 3, unfortunately, yeah, it's just going to be a stain on the trilogy of The Conjuring.
But is it? That
I think so.
See, I don't think it is.
You think okay.
I think the majority of people, if you look at reviews and you
Yeah.
look, and it baffles me, Mikey. I don't know how people like this.
What was the RT?
RT's like a 63 when I
Okay.
checked, and the
But
user
higher critics, a higher user.
the user
right?
was like an 89. A 63 to an 89. That's not that far off, is what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
that's a good point.
Like I don't know. This should literally have like a 20% on RottenTomatoes.com, an official website.
But you're right. If it was a different name, I think it would.
The devil made me do it.
Devil
you know?
made me do it. And,
Whatever.
It's not Ed and Lorraine. It's just
Yeah.
ghost hunting people and
Sure,
whatever.
sure. Nothing about this felt like new and fresh, and this should have been made, and this should, yeah.
I agree, man. I agree. And then it just ends. And you learn a couple more things, and you get some of that audio. It's I'm like, yeah, okay.
That
I'm
was
sure.
the best part of the
But I'm like, I'm
movie.
sure this is real.
Yeah,
Come
no, that was the best part of the movie, though, was the credits. I swear to God, to me, that was the
Clips
best
are
part of
fun.
the movie.
Sure.
Because it was something that's real. You hear Lorraine, and I'm like, okay, cool. They're playing a recording. At least I can go, wait, yeah, is that? Like, to me, that was that's it. That was the most intriguing part of this movie.
But
for
if
me.
it's not the boy,
yeah,
because
it is the boy.
But it is the boy. But if the right, because the real life Arnie is saying, "Oh, my brother was, he was never possessed." The kid,
The brother of the kid. Yes.
said he was never possessed.
Yes.
So then, who is it?
Who's what? What do you mean?
Is it the kid?
Is
that
what
little
the kid? What are you talking about?
The recording.
Yeah.
Is that the boy from the beginning of the
course
movie?
it's the boy. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He's saying he was never possessed by a demon.
Yeah. So he's just saying whatever that audio is just the kid freaking out.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the kid being a
it's
fucking
the
nut.
kid. Yeah.
Just being a nut.
And it's a fucking 8-year-old kid. And if you manipulate the parents into being like, oh yeah, he is possessed, like, oh my God, then the kid's gonna, dude, it's the stereotypical possession story, of like, I'm down to believe in this shit, guys. Just give me one shred of like actual evidence where I can just be like, okay, boom. Like even the Amityville, one of the most famous hauntings, right? Guys, highly recommend. It's called like what's it called again? I told you.
Oh yeah, Amity House or
Amity Horror House or something like that. It's on Discovery Plus.
I gotta watch it.
Watch it. It's like an hour and a half, but you have all this footage of the Lutzes, the family moved in after, and all their old interviews, and then interviews with Ed and Lorraine Warren, and all this cool stuff, the seances that went on, and all this shit. It's so informative. But even at the end of that, it's like the Lutz family admitted to exaggerating a large part of the book, and you're just like, God damn it. Like, these people, and if you want to make a horror movie about that, that's awesome, right? But when you mix in real life deaths and murders with victims and families and friends, and that's where it gets me, where I'm like, now we're talking about facts, right? Now we're talking about crystal clear pictures. And I can't get past this demon pulling her off a cliff, and I can't do it, man. It makes me sad and mad.
Keep it all in a house, guys, right? Give me a fucking haunted house, but done the right way, and then it's effective.
Yeah, but I would have took a courtroom thing.
Of course.
Right? So, like, when the trailer came out, we're like, all right, you know what, dude? Maybe this will be all right.
Benny of the D.
You jumping back and forth between the courtroom. You obviously, like you said, you show a little bit of the before, obviously the murder. Then you show the courtroom. Then you show Lorraine and Ed meeting with Arnie, and they're talking about their defense, and they're trying to figure out if he's possessed. That was a big problem for me in this movie. There was no doubt. There was never a doubt about anything.
Yeah.
When Ed and Lorraine are talking to the cop or anyone else, they're like, no, like, he was possessed. This lady was possessed. It's all the demon. There's never any level-headedness of like, well, hold on. Like, if you guys notice in the first Conjuring, when we first meet Ed and Lorraine Warren, they literally show them debunking the addicts. A couple is in their attic, like, no, we hear this at everything. And he's like, come here. Hits the floorboard. He's like, is it? She's like, oh my God, that's it. They show them debunking things. And that's why I think it was so effective, because you're like, oh yeah, they don't think everything is paranormal. They debunk stuff, right? This one was the opposite. It's like, no, they were 100% convinced and there was no questioning it. So yeah, so you show the court, you go back and forth, man, and then you show flashbacks like Mikey said, and it all builds up to the judge saying, nope, sorry, you can't use that as a defense. Credits roll, see you later. You know what I'm saying?
Enjoy your time in prison.
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, guess what? You murdered.
There's just not that much information about. I wanted to know so much more about like what actually happened between Arnie and the landlord who he killed. Like, it was their landlord, so it's a little like sketchy of like, you kill your landlord, like, we're a little short on rent. Like, I don't know.
What's going on?
There's so many details in it that I wish this movie addressed, where it just exploited this story to tell Ed and Lorraine going into caverns and chasing Doug Jones' sister around. And like, I don't know. Nothing about it I'm sorry, guys. I apologize.
Yeah, and I'm actually like pissed that I avoided the story prior to, because for months now, I mean, we were both talking about it on Two Dope Soapians, the other podcast. Like, oh, dude, yeah, I don't want to look up anything on it. You're like, yeah, me too. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to know anything about it, because guess what? Conjuring 3 is going to tell us everything.
And you end this, you go, I still don't know anything.
I had to watch 9 videos after about what really happened, because this movie did such a shitty job. It was, like you said, 15% Arnie, 85% Patrick Wilson's D and B. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude, nothing. Yeah. I just wanted to be scared a little bit.
Yeah, give me give me just 1 or 2 sequences that's memorable, but
dude,
it's
like
over.
Every Conjuring movie. Because I just rewatched the first Conjuring like a couple weeks ago.
Same.
And it holds up, but it doesn't hold up to when it first came out.
Loses flavor over time.
It loses flavor, 100%.
And then 2, it's always just been like, I liked it.
But my point is, in the first, like, you remember certain sequences. So I remember, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, like when, Bathsheba's up on the thing and she jumps off. You remember certain things.
The clap.
100%. I didn't want to be cliche and say the clap, because you have it. In this one, I already forgot it.
Yeah,
And I watched it last night. I forgot fucking almost 2 hours of shit, and I forgot it all.
There's not one.
Nothing.
Nope. And they failed.
You can tell. Like, James Wan should have just come back and said, hey, man, I'm doing the last one. That's it, right?
Do a JJ.
You directed the first two.
Come on.
Just do the fucking last one.
Like, what else you got? Oh, Aquaman? Oh, good.
That's
Thanks,
over,
man.
dog.
Aquaman 2, whatever the fuck else you're doing, just do it, dude. It would have been better. It might not it might have been perfect, but it would have been better if James Dubb directed it.
Yeah, I don't know how you do the first two and you're like, oh, no, all right, I'm not going to do the last one.
See ya.
I don't know.
I'm
It's
going to, and not only am I not going to do the last one, I'm going to get one of these fucking directors who just had one of the worst receptive horror movies in the last 20 years.
In your universe.
Yeah, in my universe.
In your Conjuring universe, right? I think there's a reason why it's not called Conjuring 3. I'm just speculating. I'm just saying, I think there's a reason, you know? I think that's why they named it this. Why would you not name it The Conjuring 3?
Can they still make a Conjuring 3?
No, because I think this is like unofficially it, but I think there's just a reason. Dude, The Conjuring 2 is just The Conjuring 2.
That's it?
There's no, I think there's a reason.
Something,
is what
huh?
I'm trying to say. James Wan just want to be like, guys, like, okay, I didn't direct this. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to name it The Conjuring 3. Why would you not name it The Conjuring 3?
It's a good point.
It's just one of those boring, flat movies, and I kind of hated it, man, you know?
I'm right there with you.
All right,
Scores.
well, score it up, dude. You give me your score first.
I'm going to give it a 5.8. What about you, man? Thinking about to burst at the seams, dog. What's your score for this horror movie?
I'm going to give this movie a 9.6.
Demon! Get out of him!
I'm going to give this movie a 4.8.
That's the Mikey we all know and love, or hate, depending who you are.
Of course why wouldn't I be? What do you mean?
You'll find out later.
Okay.
Budgie, what you think?
These are cheap. I would say maybe 20 million.
I was going to say 30.
Wow, dude, I wish I could be fucking,
Singing praises, dude. I get it. I wish I was too.
wish I could be exercised to forget that I saw this movie.
We can arrange that because that's real. The devil's real. The church is real. Everything's real, dude.
No question.
Bigfoot.
No question about it.
All right, man.
I
Well,
would have rather Bigfoot been the villain of this fucking movie. Guys, thanks for stopping by the watch one more time.
as always.
We're going to be back next time with something that the devil did not make us do.
Maybe.